Jacinda Ardern. Jacinda Ardern. I tell you, she was the darling of the left there for a while. She was the darling, certainly, of New Zealand voters, but it's headed away from her. Latest poll, this is the most recent poll since May. She's fallen nearly 6 points, down to less than a third, 32.3. The National Party, which is very akin to our coalition party here, they're on 40.7. We know there's an election due towards the end of next year. I think it's in part things like the methane tax hitting farmers. I also think it's this Maori co-governance model. But she'll end up on the international stage, won't she, Kosha?
That's definitely what she's playing for. And I think, Jacinda Ardern is a case study in what happens when governance is based on brand, personal branding, and not on policy. She's suffering, and the people of New Zealand, frankly, are suffering economically, not just theoretically, but as it hits them, cost of living, housing crisis, all of that. I think they've also become the poster child of the failed public policy issue around COVID, and people have not forgotten that and will not forgotten that, and a whole host of other things she's grappled with. So she's sort of, I think, mailing it in. She knows that she's sinking in the polls, and I think you're right. She has her sights set on higher, greener pastures outside of governing the country that she's from.
Greener is not a pun. Just quickly, observations from both of you on this reparations issue now firmly on the agenda. At COP27, we saw Pat Conroy basically crowing about the fact that Australia has pushed it on the agenda, Michael. I know you and I have spoken on other things. You've said to me, the Labor Party that you grew up with, that motivated you to go into politics, would never let people down over their power prices. That's where you're headed, though.
Well, and to be led by the UN, what a farce. I mean, Guterres is better than other UN Secretary-Generals, but really, Germany, France, every country in Europe is changing their policy on energy. We ought to learn it here in Australia and not take lectures from the UN, who are obviously being ignored by the Europeans.
Quick comment?
Absolutely. I think this is about a transfer of wealth from one sector to the other, a set of countries from the other. It's an ideology or religion in some cases for others, or it's just a policy that has sort of a secret agenda that's not so secret anymore.